Right now, joining me is Mounir Zok. He's the Senior Sports Technologist for the U.S. Olympic Committee. Tell us what is exciting you here at SDZ, specifically around what you guys are up to, the Olympic Committee.
I want to say that we are very excited about wearable technology.
Yeah.
We know for sure that wearable technology will determine the success of the Olympic teams in the future to quite an extent. Our coaches are some of the great coaches in the world. We have the best athletes in the world, but we know that also other countries have very similar content. So we're firm believers that technology will play a big role, and within that big array of technology, wearable technology will be one of the decisive factors.
Is it something that athletes and coaches, are they enthusiastic about that? There must be some people that enjoy the old way of doing things and pushing them forward to innovation. Is that a challenge? What has your experience been like?
You know, with coaches and athletes, especially when talking about Olympic programs and programs that are always trying to find the 1% edge, to say the most.
Yeah.
Which is that edge that makes a difference between coming back home with a gold medal or coming back home empty-handed. When you work in such kind of an environment, I believe that the first thing anyone would need to do before approaching any coach or athlete is to understand what are they thinking about. Try to put ourselves in their shoes, try to ask ourselves the questions that they're asking themselves. And as soon as we show a coach or an athlete how they could improve slightly their work, how can they improve slightly their decision-making process, how can we put them in a position where they can work more effectively in the 4 years leading up to the Olympic Games, I think we have complete buy-in at that point. And we have complete confidence and respect coming from there, and then that just paves the way to begin working on technology-related topics.
Oh yeah, so what are you seeing people utilizing in terms of wearable technology and really taking advantage of right now? And in 4 years, I'm sure it's going to be something completely different, possibly.
No, it's very interesting because even 4 years ago, as the Olympic team was preparing for the London Games, there wasn't much talk about wearable technology, was there? I mean, we were still crazy about the smartphone. It was early in the smartphone boom. And
apps and all that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we were just scratching the surface of collecting data and being able to evaluate an athlete in their field of play. Mm-hmm. Today, we take it for granted, and we're all talking about a 4-year distance, right? We take for granted that we can measure the performance of any athlete in any environment, whether that's winter sport, it's a summer sport, Olympic, Paralympic, under the water, on the top of a mountain. It doesn't really matter because we can get the data. Now the questions are, what do we do with the data, right? What is that one information, what is that one question that if we can answer, we can help the athletes gain a cutting edge in international competition.
How are they implementing these technologies then? I mean, they're wearing them daily, they're bringing them with them.
So there's not one standard.
Yeah.
Every Olympic program is unique. And it's very hard to combine different Olympic programs into one bucket.
Interesting.
I want to say that 20% of the time our sports and our athletes and coaches make use of consumer available electronics and gadgets. 80% of the time we work very closely with different companies and different individuals and different research organizations on the market to find that cutting edge. So if you take any consumer gadget, and if we believe that from that consumer gadget we can extract some information that is not available to everyone, then we would most likely strike a conversation with that company and try to get to a position where our athletes can gain a deeper insight with respect to what they can get with gadgets that we can buy off the shelf.
Is there competition, obviously besides athletic competition, but between individuals like you who are in these positions or groups in other countries to see which country is going to innovate the most these days?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We know that if we don't innovate, we are reducing our chances at keeping the number one position.
Yeah.
Innovation plays part of our everyday work. Every day when we get to the office, we always ask ourselves, how can we become better at this? And we know for sure that other leading countries are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a 4-year race. You know, every 4 years there's a quick sprint, whether you're on the summer side or on the winter side. And then after the Olympic Games, usually there's some sharing of some knowledge, and then you start your sprint again, and so on and so on.
So looking forward to 2016, what are we going to be seeing?
At the Games?
Yeah.
At the Games, from a technology perspective, I think wearables will be playing a big part, not necessarily from the athlete's point, but I believe more from a fan-based perspective.
Interesting.
Having technology at a competition, that needs to go through different hoops. You know, you start probably with one program. Let's take the US, for example. If we're working with a specific sport with technology in a training environment, and we know that, or we come to the conclusion that this technology really improves not only the performance of the athletes, but could improve the quality of the sport, then that is brought up to the International Sport Federation, which then brings it up to the International Olympic Committee, and then it could pour into the sports. That's
interesting how much it's changing the way we look at traditional sports. Right.
It is.
Yeah, and talk to us about being here at the Samsung Developer Conference, what that is doing for you in terms of what you're developing and what you're working on.
You know, being at such kind of conferences, with the developer conferences, we really have a duplicate objective being here. On one hand, keeping up to date with what the different companies are working on, the bigger ones and then the smaller ones who are showcasing all of their work over here.
Yeah.
And our second objective is to get in contact with the developer community, knowing that technology is going to be one of the decisive factors in terms of how many medals we'll bring back home. Communicating with the developers, helping them understand why it's so important that they invest their energies in helping their country get lifted up on the podium every 2 years, once in summer, once in winter, is part of our responsibility, and we try our best to do that.
How do developers get your attention? There's so many people here attending a conference like this.
You know, I believe everyone has practiced sport in their life at a certain point, so everyone knows the importance of sport.
Yeah.
I believe that sport is a great vehicle to promote human values, especially through the Olympic movement. You know, the Olympics it's not only about sport. Probably sport is a means to promote human values like respect and friendship. And no matter which sport you support, no matter which club you support, when the Olympics are on, you have one whole nation for one team only. And I want to say that it's very exciting being part of the team behind the team, knowing that you have made a difference in someone's life, knowing that you have helped athletes achieve their dreams. Whether you're at your Sunday barbecue with your family or you're grabbing some beers with your friends at the bar when the Olympics are on, being able to say, hey, you know what? If it weren't for me, probably that person wouldn't be up there on the podium. I think that's valuable.
Yeah, and I guess so proving that a developer's passion and results goes a long way to get your attention, to possibly innovate with the Olympic Committee. We know wearables are the big trend in the next year to 2016. What's even further than that? What are you predicting?
The Tokyo Games in 2020 have already been declared the wearable Olympics. They have already been declared to be the Olympics which will leverage technologies in ways that no one can ever imagine today. So, you know, the word smart is very popular today. You know, we talk about smart venues, smart hospitals, smart rail stations, smart homes. I believe we will see probably our first smart Olympic Games in 2020.
Something that's not being talked about yet because of the focus on gaming, but virtual reality gives you this potential to connect with a person and feel like you're in the same space with them that video chat can't do, that a phone can't do. It's really the next medium of communication, right?